Okay, folks, and we're back here for game two between Grubby and Happy of this best of three, and as you can see, it's on Turtle Rock, and so I'm just going to speed this up because there's not really too much to say about the opening games, and I'm in a bit of a rush. As you can see, I'm Happy going for a pretty aggressive opening build, obviously putting the cigarette way out front, which means that even if Grubby wants to sort of linger around the front of the base, he's going to be slowed probably, and Happy will probably be able to get a surround here or a base block off. But the most important thing is that he's going for a late graveyard, and so I'm just going to be going for early feeds or early ghouls creeping maybe, or early ghoul, maybe harassment or ghoul creeping, or just maybe just Death Knight on its own creeping, and meanwhile, both sides obviously is getting at its cross spawn, and so Grubby's just going to go and probably creep the merchant, because there's no way. Actually, Happy I guess could get there in time, but probably won't. Actually, no, I guess he isn't even going to creep the merchant. Maybe he's just trying to play mind games. Obviously, these two players know each other so well, but Happy will now scout that the grunt is in the right position, and so he will be able to bring his Death Knight in. So I think Grubby probably should have just killed off the Death Knight, although actually it looks like he will probably be able to get this kill anyways. Yeah, he does manage to get the kill, picks up a Ring of Protection. Obviously he's already scored his TP for a circlet as well, so Happy still at 0 experience, and looks like he will manage, Grubby will manage to kill that one Acolyte as well, and Happy being forced to run maybe his Death Knight in just to scout what's going on here. Grubby hasn't started his tech yet, but he will very shortly, I imagine, and yeah, there's the tech there, and I wonder if Happy started. Yeah, Happy started his tech already, so he's going for actually a very early tech, and then maybe really late fiends, or maybe no fiends at all. The other day I commentated a game you probably saw, Happy versus Sky, I believe, where Happy just went for an early grave, or a fairly early graveyard, and then built an expansion. Obviously, Turtle Rock's never the best map for expansions, even with a even with sort of a normal race, but with undead it's really hard to expand, and looks like Grubby's just running about a bit. Actually doesn't Happy hasn't bothered with the base block yet. I'm a bit surprised about this, and Grubby has now scouted this as well with this peon, so this could go very badly for Happy. And Grubby actually looks like he's trying to creep out this entire camp rather than just the two creeps, and as you can see, what Grubby's doing here is he's enduring both of these creeps, so that this one ogre warrior can't, or both these ogre warriors can't hit him now, and so he does as much damage to them as possible, and then he kills them both off at the same time, so that they take less damage. And I'm surprised that Grubby's actually grieving off this entire camp, considering that he's just doubted that the base block wasn't complete, and now Happy is putting up a ziggurat, and that will help with that base block. So I'm not sure that was the best play by Grubby, but maybe he wouldn't have got there before the ziggurat went up anyways. But so I think it would have been sort of pretty nice to try anyways, because obviously Happy's teching, and if you can kill off a couple of acolytes, or even if you can stop the mining for a bit, it can really cost a fair bit of gold. And Grubby now running in, he has bought a bootsy, but he is still level 1, and that's what really surprises me about this creeping, is that he never was going to hit level 2 with this, and with that creeping. And Grubby meanwhile trying to steal the creep, but doesn't manage to. He is dusted, and it looks like he might try and kill off this one ghoul, but it does get coiled, so he's going to have to maybe run his Blade Master away, and I think, yeah, that is a good base block now for Happy, just with that late second ziggurat. Obviously his first one had to go up forward, but I'm surprised he couldn't put maybe something there. Yeah, I guess not. It's pretty hard to block your base when you go for that aggressive build, but still it's pretty tricky either way, because I'm not sure that this base build is strictly necessary, especially considering he hasn't even upgraded his ziggurat yet. I guess he can do that later, but in that case, why didn't he just wait for tier 2 to hit? Maybe he was expecting some sort of early aggression. Maybe Grubby's been practicing some sort of super early aggression strategy against him or something, and Death Knight will get level 2 from this. He is now dusting, but obviously there's no need, and there's the aura there, and Grubby at level 2 obviously as well by this point, and actually slightly above, and actually some pretty nice items as well. Couple gloves of haste, and Grubby's sticking at tier 2 by the looks of things this time, actually going for Shadow Hunter this time and a bestiary, and so a bit more standard this time, but what he did last time wasn't too unusual. I think he went for slightly earlier Kodos than usual, and also Torn Chieftains is obviously a very common, but not the most common. Obviously Shadow Hunter is pretty nice because you get all that healing, and the healing on the Blade Master really is just so important, especially against the immense focusing power of the undead. And Grubby will manage to kill off this one skeleton warrior, hopefully. No, it looks like he's blocking himself a bit, and so he won't actually manage to. It's a bit unfortunate there, but he will manage to creep off this Ogre Magi at the same time, and really abusing sort of the blocking of trappers and stuff like that in this game, and in this match, and gets the rune and gets a Ring of Protection, which he immediately sells. And decides to run off, and meanwhile Happy creeping out the equivalent camp on the other side. Only 2 fiends at this point, but I imagine he's started his tech to tier 3 maybe already, and so making good use of his time, and picking up a ring of regeneration. That's about a 3rd fiend coming out, and yeah, Slaughterhouse almost done, and tier 3 actually pretty close as well, and Lich I assume 2nd, getting pretty close. Yeah, it's pretty all timed. I think the Lich is actually a bit early because he's going to need to come back for an orb at some point, but Grubby now coming in, doing a bit of damage onto these fiends, but obviously with the aura it's pretty, you don't get too many extra hits on them. And meanwhile Shadowhunter is now out and creeping, and I guess he'll probably try and creep this camp here. This is something you can creep quite easily with a couple of grunts and a Blade Master and a Shadowhunter, and so he's just a good creep that off. Meanwhile Grubby multitask creeping, just going to creep off this one camp here and just getting a ton of experience. Actually, that's very nice for him, and does manage to get away as well. So we'll salve up as well, I guess. Yeah, there's a salve there. And meanwhile, let's see if he might get a very nice item from here as well. There's some pretty nice creeps you can get from this. And as you can see, Grubby actually focusing down this Warlord first and gets a Belt of Giant Strength. That's not half bad against a sort of super focusing army. And Lich, as you can see, did come out, cast 1 frost armor, and realizes he needs to go back to buy an orb. So that's a bit careless, or I guess not careless, but I guess he could have just built the Lich a bit later. And Happy getting a very easy destroyer form, does have 3 ghouls on lumber here, so we will have you will sort of have a decent amount of lumber. Obviously he's done all his sort of expensive teching stuff now, and he still has some, and Happy putting down some blade here, so I'm not sure if he's actually going to go for an expansion, or more likely he just wants the regeneration while he's going to be creeping this. And meanwhile Grubby does manage to steal the big turtle there, and that's sort of really big. Obviously he doesn't actually get the item though. Happy gets a 1 to mana stealing, which he uses immediately on the Blade Master, but Grubby now coming back in. This is going to be very nice positioning for him. Obviously with the Shadowhunter level 2 as well, he will be able to get actually a hex there on the Death Knight, and that means Happy being forced to use his his invuln pod at the last second. I'm surprised he even managed to get it. I was sure his Death Knight was going to go down, and he does have a TP as well if he needs it, but Grubby moving back a bit, probably going to pick up an invuln pod or something. Maybe he'll scroll and then run back. Actually no, he doesn't pick up anything, he's just lingering around the shop. Or maybe did he buy a dust there? Maybe he's worried about Burrow. I'm not sure if it's even been researched yet, but certainly Happy producing a couple statues now, and he will just go for a couple of destroyers quite early, I imagine, because with the Shadowhunter, it is very nice to be able to get rid of that hex, and this this clarity will be cancelled, but on the Shadowhunter, and a pretty nice creep jack here by Happy. Yeah, and Happy does have Burrow, but Grubby buying that dust in anticipation. Clearly these 2 players know each other so well. Meanwhile, a Spirit Walker being focused down, even despite being in ethereal form, by the destroyer, which does have mana from all the Spirit Link, and Cookie Cutter these days seems to be continuing just to put down lots of Spirit Link even when there's destroyers up, and just sort of trying to work through rather than just stopping casting Spirit Link, which has always seemed a bit crazy to me, but it actually sort of works, which is odd. And Grubby running in, actually being scouted by this ward, but Happy doesn't seem to notice. Maybe he wasn't paying attention. Oh no, does get a dust now, and forces the Blade Master to run into the back of the base at least, and Happy will probably try and focus down this Ogre Lord as soon as possible, using his destroyer to get rid of the bloodlust on the Ogre Lord as well. And Grubby does manage to get the kill, so that's pretty careless there by Happy. He should have really done the focus fire a bit earlier, but does get an Ango chain. What is it? Django of endurance, ancient Django, Ango. Yeah, so endurance bar basically, and that's gonna be pretty nice for him once he gets a couple more units. But at this point, not gonna be too good, and maybe a claws of attack would have been nicer on his Lich. But one destroyer is now, and I'm surprised. I guess we're gonna see a couple more later, but we're not even seeing more statues at this point, and so maybe we won't. And one sacrificial being built, and I can't talk today. And first shade coming out as well, and I'm surprised Happy isn't just killing that 1 turtle, because that would be a nice bit of experience. And I'm getting a Pit Lord 3rd. Meanwhile, Grubby being forced to run back. He does have a Headhunter out as well, and he is tier 3, so we might be seeing. We are seeing the drums upgrade coming in a second as well. And Grubby just having his units focused down now, but Happy decides that 1's enough, and he doesn't want to be fighting in the in Grubby's base, and so he does run away. Grubby doesn't have reinforced defenses actually, which is a bit surprising considering that Happy went for super early. Or first destroyer at least, and this Pit Lord does not have much experience at this point, but could be put to really good use. Yeah, very nice there by him, managing to catch a lot of units with Howl of Terror. And Grubby now focusing down this one burrowed Crypt Fiend. That seems a bit of a waste of time, really. And Grubby will lose one. Oh no, he does. Very nice use of Healing Wave there by the Shadow Hunter. Manages to get that away. And as you can see, these two destroyers, both with like 200 plus mana. Actually, one of them with 300 plus, and that's just gonna be so useful for always focusing. And Grubby, he does. Happy does have a Shaders round as well, so he's not gonna be able to use Windwalk if his Blademaster takes a lot too much damage. And Pitlord, actually, as you can see, has actually got a fair bit of experience by this point. Grubby's lost a lot of units, and he will probably need to start playing just sort of quite a hit and run to try and win this one now. And Grubby managing to kill one destroyer with the orb, which is obviously so good against air, especially undead air. But Happy no mana on his Death Knight now, and so it would have been really nice if he could have coiled that destroyer, but obviously that's just not a possibility. And it looks like Grubby's going to manage to take out that second destroyer as well, and maybe a couple of ghouls as well, just with a couple of heroes and sort of the remnants of his army, just sort of a couple of raiders and stuff. Obviously, undead heroes just so strong on their own.